Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Rally Podcast. I'm your host, Mike White, along with the host from the West Coast, Sean Boyer, and the loud bell from down south, Logan Cornelius. Logan, tell us where you are right now.
I am currently in a Chili's parking lot in Carlsbad, New Mexico, munching on some salmon right by a Chevrolet car dealership and a Walmart.
You're living the dream.
Oh, it's the life.
So you just started in the van this week?
Yep, yeah. So I'm with my wife Savannah, and we started off on Saturday. We drove from Dallas to Houston. I pick up in Houston. We're in Austin the next day, and then the day after that, we were in Austin again and had like a 27-person pickup. And then now we're en route to Albuquerque, which we'll pick up tomorrow.
That might be the biggest spike van pickup yet.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Then there was like 10 to 15 people that came and asked about it as well. So Austin is killing it.
Doing big things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it is actually halfway through. Oh, sorry. I scrolled forward. I actually have a first regard for Logan. So, Logan, Tetelestai.
Yeah.
This year, they've placed tied for fifth, third, and third.
Correct.
How do you feel that your former partner got second at a tour stop in his first tour stop in like a year and a half?
You know, I just know, I don't know if he'll watch this, but if he does, he'll hold it over my head. And I honestly was surprised that he didn't hold it over my head so far. And so I'm happy for him. I'm excited for him. I wish I would have played in Seattle, but I'm just glad he's not holding it over my head right now.
Didn't you guys get the one seed? Was it in Dallas?
Twice. We got the one seed in Dallas and in Wisconsin, and then we faced PJ in the semis both times.
Yeah. Logan, that'll go.
Carry that in.
That'll work great into this next segment. So, we are halfway done with the tour stops and Grand Slams. One left in the West, two in the Midwest, two in the Southeast, actually three in the East, and maybe four because there's the bonus stop in Montreal. So I kind of want to discuss some things that have been happening as we're halfway through, as well as talking about regionals contenders, because top two from regionals from each region make the pro division, so those are really big. And we kind of want to talk about who we think is going to get top two. But first, halfway through the season, we just talked about it. Logan, CS, they beat you once, OV twice, Wabi once. Are they going to lose this year?
I don't think so. I mean, I want them to, just because, I mean, it's more fun when it's more competitive, but I just think they're on a different level. From all the teams that played, like Chiswick Showalter just seems like they're on a different level. And we'll see. I think it's possible teams could catch up. It would just take a mental switch for some teams, and I think if anyone's going to beat them, it's going to be with serves. But they have the best serves right now, and they just control the ball well. But I don't see it happening. I see them going back to back overall this year.
Wait, here's what Sean's going to say. Sean's going to say, I think they're really good, but there's probably like some team on the West Coast that could beat them.
No, I'm going to say they're all right. They might win it, but no, I think I am going to differ from Logan. I think they will be beat. I think what will be the big difference will be whether it's at, say, nationals when it really matters, or like a tournament leading up, because it's so hard for a top team like them to consistently get results, and so other teams will find a crack and probably capitalize on it. But I don't know. I could easily be wrong just because they haven't really faltered yet. Maybe I'm just kind of rooting that they get challenged.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point.
Any team that'll beat them,
What's up?
it starts with a T and has 20 syllables in it.
Okay. But that's a good point, Sean, because also last year they lost Boston, which was like a pretty big deal, and afterwards kind of did very well in Chicago and Nationals. But so again, like, it's hard to tell. If they do lose, would they lose at a big tournament because maybe pressure, or another team's amped up, or is it at a small tournament where maybe they're kind of relaxed, and also whichever one it is might change how they react to it.
Well, I think also the perfect example too is if we go back to last year's Nationals finals. They dropped Game 1 to Spicy Ruby. No one would have predicted that in 1,000 years. But like, let's say Ruby ends up taking that series. The storyline of this year is totally different. It's Chiswick Showalter trying to come back and prove themselves after dropping the ball last year. But that didn't happen, so we don't need to talk about it. But I don't know. I like to pretend that these storylines can happen this year as well.
Yeah. And I think if there is a tournament they are going to drop this year, I think Summer Spike is prime opportunity for it, just because it'll be high competition. And if it's similar to Lancaster, like the scoring and like the output of the games will be a little bit different. And so that'll be a prime opportunity for them to drop it, because it gives them less of an opportunity to give up those early leads and come back. So that could be a prime opportunity for someone to beat them.
Yeah, well, I remember was it maybe the winners finals against two guys, or winners semis. At Summer Spike, they lost Game 1 because Troy Mock just had a bunch of aces and just put him past them. So, like, again, Summer Spike, if it has the cap again, or regardless, you know, that'd be, especially if it has the cap, that's like a whole thing.
I will say it would be poetic for them to lose at Summer Spike.
No, wouldn't you, Sean?
Sean's casting on the mic and he's trying to remain unbiased.
I'm not biased. I love those two, but I don't want them to touch the Chico legacy, of course.
Okay. I overall, based on what we've seen this year, I don't think that they'll lose. If both teams are playing like their great game, I think it would take them to kind of have an off day and make some mistakes, and another team to just be on it 110%. I don't think any mix of, like, you know, one team's playing 90, they're playing 80 will beat them. I think it'll take one team playing really well, them kind of not playing well, to beat them. And then I think if they will lose, I think they'll come back really seriously, because them in Chicago last year after losing Boston was kind of scary. It was kind of mean what they were doing. So that's it.
So Mike, what's your top 3 teams that in order that you think has the best shot at beating them?
That's a good question. You're killing me. So I think it would be probably like mix of Wabi and OV, just because I think they all are skilled players, and you know, Dylan can serve really well, and Chris has been getting better at just hitting that near net, as well as Preston and Jarrett can serve well and get past them, as well as they're all great hitters, so they can hold very well, which I think you'd need. But I also think a third team would be a wild card, like maybe Hilltop or Anchored like last year, that kind of just like really has a good day and just capitalizes on those mistakes. And the team that CS hasn't really played much before, because, you know, at this point they've played Preston and Jarrett a ton, Chris and Dylan a ton, and I know they've played other teams a lot, but if those teams get better where they have skills that CS might not be used to, then they'd be able to capitalize on that. You know, a team like Tell-style, Logan.
I mean, Jesse's modeled a lot of his game after Tyler, and he gets better every time I play with him. And like, I was talking to Eric and like Eric Zisk after we played them, and he's like, "What's it feel like?" Because we went up a game, we were up 7-0. I didn't touch the ball once. It was literally from Jesse. He's like, "How do you feel?" And I'm like, you know, like in my mind, I want to think I'm really good, but then I have to sit here and be like, I have done nothing. So,
world's best spectator.
Jesse's learned a lot from Tyler, I think. I think that helps him and obviously helps us. But I don't know. It's possible. I like it.
Okay, moving over to the women's side. You know, Ogres hadn't lost, and like Ogres didn't lose last year. CS did, but at Lancaster, Ogres had a bit of a scare, winning 15-14 Game 3 over Lagertha. And, you know, now Tori and Jordy are combining, should be a good team. Are Ogres going to lose this year?
Yes.
Depends if we throw some more Games of 15 format at them.
I think Ogres loses. I think the thing with Ogres is they've been such a level ahead of everyone. It's hard for them to necessarily maintain that. I know that they play with a lot of solid guys, but on the women's level, like, we're seeing a lot of solid teams pop up this year and a lot of consistent teams. Mm-hmm. And I know I've always been on the boat of Ogres is going to lose, and like that boat sunk every year. But I'm staying on that boat. Ogres is gonna lose this year. Whether that means they don't win nationals, I don't know. But they drop a series this year, or they don't win a tournament that they compete in this year.
Yeah, I thought it was cool in that match that I remember after Lagertha won game 2 and I was kind of unsure about it, and then at the start of game 3, one of the players, Nancy or Marie, had just a crazy hit, and it was like I didn't expect them to hit that pull. It was like a really good pull. I didn't expect her to hit it, and I don't think Allie or Becca did either. And that's when I was like, oh, they might actually win. So it's like one of those things where there are a lot of women that are getting better. And it's the same thing with CS. They might not expect some of the things they do. They have to react to their hitting, whereas people have seen Ogres play for a long time, so they have to step up their game. And I know they are very driven to do that, but it's a lot harder to maintain motivated when you win every time.
Yeah, that's one thing about Ogres, because they've never lost a series, right?
They haven't lost a series since like May 2016.
Yeah, that's a huge weight on the shoulders. I remember when I was commentating for their match in Game 3
sorry. They've lost series, but they never lost a tournament because it's double elim and they win. Like last year, Moxie took 2 and Vente took 1, I believe.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is they looked, and going into that Game 3, they looked a little rattled. Just like, wow, we might actually lose our first really big stage tournament. And they didn't. So they showed that they got that champion spirit in them, but that's when you can get a little worried about the outcome going into a match and you're down. It's hard to combat that.
Well, yeah, then it's even like a lot different mentally. It's not like, oh, let's just play the game. It's like, oh, we might lose. You might feel a little tense.
Yeah, there's a lot riding on it.
Yeah.
I think one thing about Ogres as well is like they have been setting the bar for women's round net for the last 2 years, and it's hard to kind of surpass the bar and raise it when you're the one setting it, because they're kind of like they're setting that bar off their own game, whereas other women can bring in what they have, take what Ogres is doing on their game, and they can kind of like use that to drive themselves. Whereas when you're the one ahead, it's hard to always set that year after year.
Yeah. So, and we have some good women's teams. So
are Tori and Sam a thing? Do they have a team name?
Jordy and Tori. They don't have a
Jordy
team.
And Tori.
I don't think they have a team name. I'm gonna find out. They didn't have one. They didn't have one before Lancaster. Logan, they didn't take any of your 20 suggestions.
They were all
Okay, so now I want to talk about regionals, and I guess there's one region that I think deserves a little more talk, so I have that kind of last.
The Southeast.
Well, the Southeast would be interesting. So first, West, the clear top 2 have been Wabi and Point Loma this year. I don't think Subpar will beat either of them, but then we also have, last year, Skylar, who just came out and Buddy and won. So, is Skylar going to do something similar this year? Is Buddy going to come back? Probably not. I haven't heard anything about Skylar playing with Buddy or anything for West Regionals yet, but that would definitely throw a loop. But at this point, it's hard to tell because I want to say Wabi and Point Loma are just really good, but last year 2 guys in Strange were really good, and Skylar and Buddy beat them. So I don't know what to think.
Yeah, I have a feeling Skylar's going to pick up someone and at the very least play. Who knows how he'll do, but he loves trying to win that tournament. He's won it every time, right?
He's 4-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got some pride on the line there.
He's going to pay PJ to play in the West.
Yeah, right.
That wouldn't be the worst strategy because Tyler and PJ will be in pro on points. So just get one of them to play regionals with him.
What do you think PJ's price is on that?
That's a great
question. The flight?
I don't. Yeah, probably the flight plus like $200. PJ's down to win. But then Tyler, I guess you have to pay Tyler too.
I think we can all agree this is not going to happen.
Hey, we'll see.
Who knows?
We'll see. Okay, so Midwest, CS played there last year, so I'm going to assume they're playing this year. Logan, I can hear myself.
Is that me?
I think so.
I didn't do anything different.
Are you listening through your computer?
Yes, but I've been listening through my computer the whole time.
Yeah, sometimes it keeps picking me up. And it creeps me out. But it's okay. Alright. Midwest. CS played the last year, you can assume that, and then we have Oregon Vengeance for the 1-2. Is Tetelestai going to play Midwest or Southeast?
We're not sure. We haven't decided on that. It's kind of
Okay.
gonna see when the time comes.
So we also have Schweppes, who played East in 2016, but could also play Midwest, and then Joey and Joey, but top 12. Joey and Force are 14, 15, or 15, 16, 13, 15, but mostly it's CS Vengeance, and then hope Tetelestai or Schweppes come in and try their best at taking out Vengeance, or CS. 'Cause I thought Schweppes played well against CS. But, Logan, you might want to go to the Southeast, because the Southeast right now is led by Easily Doug and then LED. And you just beat LED.
I am a Southeast player, so the Southeast is looking pretty prime, and I think we might want to do that. It honestly depends on just like calendar and schedule and timing on it all. But
Yeah.
I mean, I like playing. I think the Southeast tournaments are really fun. I love them, so
Yeah.
that would be ideal.
Well, something
We'll
else
see.
is you probably, with your 5th and 2/3, probably, if you continue doing that, you'll qualify for Pro Division, so you don't necessarily need a top 2 finish. So you could really
Right, and-
play wherever you want to play.
Yeah. So we'll see when the time comes down, and two, it's like it just kind of depends on like where teams fall, where we're at, and like what makes sense for us too. So if we could be in Pro Division already and give some other Texas teams a shot in Southeast, like not that we'd be a shoe-in for that, but like with
Right.
Grayson and Harding and then Brian and Sam, if we would be in already, I'd love to give them a shot as well at Pro Division. So whatever that looks like.
Okay, so the team I really want to discuss, or the region, was the East, because at Lancaster, 717 beat Anchored. This past weekend, Hilltop beat Joel Graham and Tyler Chiswick. So we have like those 3 teams that are solid, and we also have Schweppes, who played the East. We have Ruby, so that's like a bunch of teams competing for that top East spot. And especially even like the top 2 East spots if you're going Pro Division and stuff like that. I'm low-key kind of hoping that all of them kind of beat each other this year and we have a nice little thing going where going into the tournament you're not sure who wins. What do you guys think? You think like one team's going to emerge from that, or what are you feeling? Because Anchored is also their first tournament of the year.
I have no idea. So
Yeah, it's tough. You can't sleep on Anchored though, just based on their history.
Yeah.
I feel like the first of the year, it's so hard to base off that because it's like for a lot of them, it's coming off the off season, getting into the tournament groove again, and it's hard to like base how a team's going to play for the rest of the season based off their first tournament of the year.
Yeah. I'm just so confused now. Well, so Hilltop beat 717, and 717 beat Anchored. Anchored and Hilltop haven't played in a long time, but they could definitely get it to them. So I guess I'm just wanted to talk about this because I'm excited because we have a bunch of East events coming up, 3, and I really want to see what happens between these, as well as throwing in Schweppes, throwing in Ruby, and also seeing how they compete with the outer region teams because I think there are a lot of teams that they could compete with.
Is East the deepest region now? It's kind of sounding that way.
Based on this right now, it is. Based on my assumption. Well, so yeah, it kind of that depends on why you go by depth. Because if I look at contenders for top 2 at regionals, that's a lot different than looking at depth. Top 5 teams per region and comparing those. So, but
For sure.
But I think so. But we also have a lot of free agents. Skylar we talked about, Eric Zizka, George Rizk, Patrick Drucker, David Gonzalez, and a bunch of people that could play and kind of shake things up.
Do we have dates set for regionals yet?
We do not. I think they'll be announced very, very soon.
Yeah, I should know these things, but
Yeah.
I don't believe we have them set.
Yeah. Well, so that'll change some stuff too. Logan, I just gotta say, so your videos come in so slow, and you'll just do dumb poses like this, for like 5 seconds at a time.
Right now, right? It was just paused like me, like with like the thinking emojis.
Yeah.
I didn't know
It was one you just eaten, just popped in. Okay.
That's that van life.
Shout out to Chili's. That salmon was one of the best salmons I've ever had. It was good. So, can they sponsor us?
Okay. So, just kind of want to close. I lived in a van, the Spike van, for 4 weeks. Logan just started it. So, I have the important questions. One,
Okay.
what is your go-to fast food?
Go-to fast food. Well, the first day we got Whataburger, which is really good. We haven't repeated any fast food. We've gotten different fast food every time. So far, no go. Like our go-to is variety.
Okay. What about fast casual? If you're like, hey, let's get a nice little thing.
I mean,
Logan,
honestly,
you've been doing this for so long.
It's honestly stopping at the gas station because like we've been mostly like you've never been to West Texas, I'm assuming, but it's like grass.
Good assumption.
And like nothing there. Like it's like either Dairy Queen, which we don't really want, or a gas station. So it's mostly just get a snack at a gas station.
Wow. Sounds healthy.
It's so healthy. Except Chili's was a nice change of pace. It's probably the nicest.
Chili's was a nice change of pace. No one's ever said that before.
Have you been to Carlsbad, New Mexico?
What?
Have you been to Carlsbad, New Mexico?
No. They have great salmon at their Chili's, I hear.
Yeah, I just experienced that. That's word on the street.
Okay. And also, music or podcasts?
But I've done a lot of music. I like singing along, and I like to see Savannah's face as she cringes as I sing along. So it's kind of like double plus for me. But I've listened to podcasts as well. I like to mix it up.
Nice. When we were in the van, Delaney wanted to listen to stand-up the whole time. And sometimes I would put something on, and then you'd be like, "This is bad. Change it." Be like, you don't know if stand-up's gonna be good or not."
Fair.
It was so hard.
I listen to Planet Money, but mostly it's just kind of been whoever's driving can kind of choose, but we'll listen to kind of pop music and sing along. I actually spent like an hour yesterday trying to learn the lyrics to Despacito.
Oh, this is what I have to say because we didn't record last week, so I couldn't mention this. We're at Logan's apartment in Dallas, and we go, "Alexa, play music," and Alexa goes, "This is something you might like, playing Britney Spears and more." Logan goes, "I like pop."
I blame that on. I listen to a lot of Taylor Swift, so I blame that on my Taylor Swift.
They just went to another blonde girl.
Exactly.
That's it. So you only did one pickup. How did you just have a bunch of people hanging out and doing pickup?
We've done two pickups.
What did you do? Did you just do pickup?
So in Houston we did pickup. In Austin we did a hat tournament because there were so many teams.
What did you do for the hat tournament? Because what we would do is split into the top half, split into the bottom half.
So it was too much of an unestablished groups. Like we didn't really have top half. We just honestly just put we put people's names in a hat and drew them, and then just basically did pool play, and then the top 4 teams did a little mini bracket.
Ooh, fancy.
Are you getting these people from the app, or are they just like random passerbyers?
So a few people were playing at the park, and we got them to come over. A lot were from the app, and then also we have like a Taser Hub, Texas Association for the Sport, around at Hub in Austin, and so the guy that runs that Hub, he got a lot of people like from our Facebook group and whatnot as well. So
nice,
all kinds of areas.
Yeah. I wanted to say, so something actually funny last night is someone from my town made a game on the app, and I just joined just for playing last night, and 3 kids came from Boston, and I came from here, it was in Natick, and the person that hosted didn't show up, and someone else didn't, and I was like, that could have been bad if I just decided, and no one messaged each other, if I just decided not to go, and 3 people drove like 40 minutes from Boston to come to pick up, and we're just stood up. So guys, if you RSVP on the app, go or let someone know, because you could ruin someone's night.
Did you have some good games with them?
Yeah, it was good, and I was kind of happy they came, because I would have easily just went to them. But someone just made the game for here, so they came here. Yeah, it was good games, and I'll probably go play with them later this week. was funny. Okay, well, so what we did at the pickups a lot of the time would split the top half and the bottom half if they knew everyone, and then mix the teams. So it was one better player and one not as good player. And I really like that. And I think a lot of the time, I think you need to play with better people to get better, and that is definitely the case a lot of the time. But just playing with someone who's not as good as you is very helpful too, because instead of just having an okay set where your partner can crush it, you really have to work on placement, as well as you can recognize things that they do that you might do that you kind of see as something you shouldn't do. So that was just what I picked up over there. I've always kind of known that, but it was more because we did that like almost every night. I started to really like that and really appreciate playing, mixing it up like that.
I'm excited for so next we have Albuquerque tomorrow and then Provo on Saturday. I'm excited because I don't know anything about the Albuquerque guys. And I didn't really know anything about the Utah guys, but I've been hearing that they have a lot of solid players, and I guess Taylor Church's name I know is there. So I'm excited to play with both of these groups. So it's people I've never played with before, as opposed to like so far I've done Texas, and it's people I'm at least somewhat familiar with. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Are you just doing it until this Sunday?
Yeah. So I come back on Sunday.
Are you sad?
The band's been really fun. I wish we could do it longer.
Yeah, we'll see what you say in 4 more days.
There's always next year, Logan.
That's true.
Logan, you can take all my 5 weeks if you'd like.
let me talk to Savannah and see if she can get off school for a month.
Oh, Savannah could just do them by herself.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, okay. That is what I had for today. I forgot we didn't do one last week, so this was very fun. It felt weird. It was so weird being on the van and trying to coordinate this stuff. And Logan, do you have a window open or door open?
I have the AC on.
Okay, because when I was in it for our last one, I was dying. I was sweating so much. I much prefer sitting in my room.
It's a little toasty. The AC's on, so not too bad, but it's a little toasty.
Yeah. Okay.
Second half of the season coming up. What's the one thing you're most excited about?
The new Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch.
Awesome.
Oh, you mean RoundNet related?
Yeah, sure, that too.
Definitely Summer Spike. See how that second broadcast goes, as well as Boston for the Grand Slam because I like when everyone's in town. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Solid choices.
Yes, thank you. Great question. Also, Smash for the Switch, debuting very soon. If you get a delay in content once that comes out, it totally isn't that.
We'll know why.
Anyway, thank you all for listening. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next time.
Later.
See ya.